My beloved child, pause for a moment, child. In the rush of life and the weary sighs, there is one thing I want you to hear in its fullness. Not every wound needs an outward miracle. Many need healing from within. You have gone so far in your pleadings that you have forgotten that sometimes what you are waiting for is already inside you. I say to you, be still. Do not hasten to chase after signs amid the noise of the world, for I do not come in the thunder, but in the gentle breeze. Many souls have worn themselves out waiting for a touch from heaven, yet they have not noticed that heaven has long since touched them through a word of forgiveness, through a tear, through a fall from which they were lifted up. Do not walk away while your heart is still closed, for even in the very moment you are still doubting, I have already begun to heal you. I do not only mend the wounds of the body, I also wash away the dust that has dulled the soul. I will heal not only the flesh, but an entire life. A miracle is not a reward for those who are righteous enough. It is the journey of those who dare to believe. Many ask for a miracle but refuse to walk in faith. They wait for the Lord to act while forgetting that the miracle begins with their own step. Today I want you to remember this. It is not the one who pleads the most who is healed, but the one who believes the deepest who is made new. My child, there were nights when you bowed your head begging for a miracle until your eyes were dry from waiting. You sighed. Why does the Lord not answer? But child, I have never been silent. It is only that my voice did not sound in your ears, but in your heart where faith had shut its door. You looked to the sky for a blazing sign, but miracles do not begin in the heavens. They begin in the heart that chooses to believe. Sometimes, what keeps you from being healed is not that I do not want to, but that you have not yet dared to believe that you can truly be healed. There was a woman who had been bleeding for 12 years, and no one could heal her. She did not shout, she did not cry out. She quietly pushed through the crowd just to touch the hem of my garment. No elaborate prayer, no justification, only a trembling but genuine faith. And in that very moment the bleeding stopped, and her heart was restored. Do you see? The miracle did not burst forth like thunder. It came from a faith that knew how to touch me. I did not look at her with pity, but with recognition. Your faith has saved you. Many today pray as though I were one who hands out wonders only to the deserving. They count their prayers like counting pills, hoping to be cured. But child, believing is not striving to earn a reward. It is letting go so you can be led. To believe is to loosen your grip on your own calculations and let me steer even when you cannot yet see the road. When you believe, you do not change my will, you change yourself. Faith makes the soul tender like earth, welcoming rain. But when you doubt, you build walls that keep grace out. You ask me to pour out favor, but your heart is shut like an upside-down vessel in the rain. Let me tell you this, I do not need you to be perfect in order to believe. I only need you to be true. For faith is not measured by how bright the smile is, but by how steady the heart is when the night comes. Some believe when all goes well, then stop believing when storms rise. But child, believing in sunshine is emotion, believing in the storm that is faith. When you choose to believe in the midst of loss, you are making the darkness bow before the light. Believing like that, that is the first miracle. And when you have believed, I want you to receive. For there are souls who believe in my power but do not dare to believe that this power is for them. They kneel, their lips pray, but their hearts whisper, I am not worthy. Child, I have never measured love by worthiness. Grace does not come because you are good enough, but because I am merciful. To receive is not only to open your hands, it is to open your heart so that I may enter. For only when your heart is open do I have a place to dwell. You fear that I will reject you because of your wounds, but it is precisely through those wounds that I come in. Remember the story of the leper who was cleansed. He did not come in pride, but in a decaying body and a broken spirit. And when he knelt and said, Lord, if you are willing, You can make me clean. I touched him, not because he was worthy, but because he dared to believe that I was willing. When you receive, I begin to rewrite your life with a gentle hand. But receiving cannot stop at emotion. It must become declaration, for words are the breath of faith. You have believed. You have opened your heart. Now, let your mouth speak what is true. The Lord is healing me. Many souls remain trapped in the cycle of fear because they speak what they see instead of what they believe. You see sickness, so you say, I am weak. You see failure, so you say, I cannot. But let me teach you this. Every word you speak in faith is an arrow through the darkness. When you speak truth, heaven moves, and my power is released. I remember when Lazarus had died and people said everything was over, but I said he is only sleeping. And when I called Lazarus come out, death had to retreat. Not because a corpse could hear, but because my word carried life. So you too declare in faith, and the miracle will awaken within you. Child, I do not need you to strain yourself to believe. I only need you to be honest about your weakness. When you say, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief, it is in that very moment that I smile, for I am not looking for the flawless, but for the sincere. Faith is not a wall to boast of, but a bridge for me to come near to you. And when you have believed, received, and declared, then the miracle is no longer distant. It has already begun quietly, like a seed in the earth, but it will surely bloom. For miracles do not come to those who stand waiting in doubt, but to those who dare to walk in faith. Child, faith is not a destination. It is a road that leads to trust and perseverance, where every miracle will be seen in my time. My child, when the wind stops blowing, the sea grows still, and the sky seems silent, the heart easily trembles. There are moments when even though you believe, you still feel as though you are walking on water amid the waves, not knowing when you will be swallowed. Believing is easy. Trusting is what is tested by fire. Trust is no longer holding on, but letting go, so that I can take hold. Many believe I can do it, but few dare to let me do it my way. They ask for a miracle, but want to control how it will happen, when it will happen, and why it will happen. Child, trust is walking in the mist while still knowing there is light ahead, even when you cannot see it yet. I remember Peter, the one who dared step out of the boat when I called. In the middle of the storm, he walked a few steps, then looked at the wind and began to sink. His eyes left me, and his faith fell with them. I took his hand not to scold, but to teach. Trust is not looking at me only when it is safe, but looking at me when you are afraid. As long as you still need to understand everything, you have not truly surrendered. Only when you stop asking, why have you not done it yet, Lord, and begin to say, whether you do it or not, I still trust. You only then is trust formed. Some ask for a miracle but are afraid in case the miracle does not come. They believe, but they will not wait. Child, trust does not stand on a soft meadow, but on a stony path where every step is a choice. Remember, I do not need you to understand my plan. I only need you to believe that my plan is good. When you no longer demand answers, yet still cling to me, your soul is set free from fear. Trust is learning to rest in the storm. When the wind knocks you down, you still know you have not fallen out of my arms. That is why I allow the waves to rise, not to drown you, but to teach you that even the deep waters are under my feet. But trust is not enough without perseverance. For my miracles do not blossom in an instant. They grow over time. You want to see glory, but you do not want to go through the long, weary days. You want the fruit to ripen, but you fear the winter. Child, faith without steadfastness is like straw fire. It flares up quickly and dies just as quickly. When you pray and still do not see, do not think I have forgotten. I am preparing something deeper than an answer. I am preparing you. There are gifts that if I gave them too soon, you would lose. So I delay not to test you, but to enlarge your soul. Waiting is the furnace of faith where I soften what is still hard in you. Do you remember Abraham's story? He was promised descendants as numerous as the stars, yet he had to wait until he no longer had anything to lean on in the flesh. When human hope had faded, that was when God's hope was born. And when Isaac was born, he was not only Abraham's son, but the sign of a faith made mature through patience. Persevering is not suffering in silence, it is standing firm in faith. Each day you say, "The Lord is healing me," even when your body still aches and your heart is still weary, you are sowing the seed of a miracle. Remember, I do not count the days you fall, I count the days you rise. Every time you choose to go on, I lay another stone in the building of your faith. When you see others healed while you are not yet, do not compare, for my timing for you is not theirs. Your season will come, and when it comes, nothing will be able to stop it. There are nights when you can only weep in silence and think that I have gone away. But child, I do not keep silent to leave you. I keep silent so that you learn to listen by faith and not by ear. It is in that silence that your heart is purified, your will is softened, and your love for me is no longer tied to results. Perseverance is when you still pray, though you feel nothing. It is when you still praise, though you see no reason to rejoice. It is when you keep walking, though you do not know where you are going. That is not madness, that is faith that has matured. Because when I see you walking in the night, still holding my hand, I know you have understood the miracle is not the destination, but the journey with me. Child, I want you to remember this. Trust opens the door, perseverance keeps it from closing. If faith is the seed, trust is the root, and perseverance is the soil. Without soil, the seed dries up. Without roots, the tree breaks. Only when all three become one does the miracle bloom. And when you have learned to trust and to persevere, you will understand the miracle does not only heal the body, it heals the soul. Where the soul rests in me, every pain is softened. You will no longer seek miracles just to have peace, but you will seek me to have life. For where I am, the miracle is not a single moment of change, but an entire life made new. You often think a miracle is when crippled legs walk again, when blind eyes see, when sickness vanishes as if it had never been. But I tell you the truth, there are people whose bodies have been healed while their souls are still bleeding. For the body only carries the pain that can be seen, but the soul carries wounds without a name, wounds before which even medicine is powerless. The true miracle does not begin when your body changes, but when your heart yields. There are those who ask me to heal their bodies, yet they still nurture anger, still keep resentment in their hearts. They want to be cured, but they do not want to forgive. They want to live long, but they do not want to live differently. How can I pour new life into a vessel filled with bitterness? My child, I do not only want you to stop hurting, I want you to love again. For only when you love are you truly made whole. True healing does not lie in flesh and blood, but in a soul that bows low and forgives. I remember the paralytic who was carried to me by 4 friends. They broke through the roof to lower him down in the midst of the crowd. When I saw them, I did not say, "You are healed, but your sins are forgiven." Do you see? I touched the soul first, then the body. For a body can stand up, but if the heart still lies in sin, that person has not yet truly lived. The greatest miracle is not making someone walk, but making someone rise from the death within his own heart. My child, there are sicknesses I do not remove because they are pruning your heart. There are pains I do not heal at once because I want you to learn to hear my voice in the midst of suffering. If I only healed the body and left the soul unattended, you would soon return to the old path. But when your soul is restored, you will know that even if this body decays, the soul still shines in grace. When I see you suffer, I do not only look at the wound, I look at the cause. Many times the wound does not come from the body, but from having refused love. You were hurt by words, by betrayal, by loss. But my child, I can turn that pain into an altar for my dwelling. If you offer that pain to me, I will use it to soften your heart, so that you may have compassion on those who are wounded as you are. A miracle in the soul is when you no longer ask, "Why did the Lord let this happen?" but begin to say, "What is the Lord teaching me through this?" When the question changes, the heart changes. And when the heart changes, the miracle has already begun. You will realize there are things I do not take out of your life because they are the very things making you more like me. I do not promise you will not suffer. I only promise you will not suffer for nothing. Many people run to me to ask for healing, but they leave when I touch the real pain, the wound in the soul. They want me to patch up the outside, but they do not want me to touch the hidden corners. But my child, I did not come to stick a bandage on the heart. I came to give a new heart. I do not want you to go on living in fear. I want you free in love. Healing the body is only the beginning. Healing the soul is the completion. Look at yourself again. Are there not times when your body is still strong, yet your heart is heavy? Are there not days when you still walk, still work, still smile, yet inside you are cold like ashes? You do not need to wait for an outward miracle, because the inward miracle is already waiting for you to open the door. Every time you truly say, "Lord, it hurts so much. Please touch the deepest place in me," at that very moment, my light slips into every crack of your soul. My child, I once healed the blind, the deaf, the mute, the leprous, but there is something I long for even more to heal: the faith of humankind. The body can be made whole, but if the soul is not renewed, they still live like the dead. That is why I do not work miracles only for you to see, but for you to recognize. When your eyes are opened, you will not only see me, but you will see yourself fragile yet loved. And when you understand this, you will no longer beg for a miracle in order to live, but you will live as a miracle to bear witness that I am still living in you. Then every pain becomes a seed. Every wound becomes a testimony. And you will realize a miracle is not only to escape suffering, but to let suffering become the road back to me. A true miracle does not make you forget your tears. It makes you understand why you once wept. It does not lift you out of hardship. It helps you walk through hardship with clear eyes and a peaceful heart. Then you no longer need a miracle, for you yourself have become my miracle. Therefore, my child, when you have been healed within, speak out. Let your mouth bear witness to my power. For when you speak, heaven listens, and other souls will be awakened. That is the next step in the journey where your words become the call of miracles. My child, there are words that seem to dissolve into the air, yet they tremble in the deepest places of heaven. Every time you speak to me, every sigh, you cannot even form into words I hear. Not one word spoken in faith falls to the ground. For your words, if woven with trust, become a shaft of light, piercing the darkness, opening the door for my power to act. You still think you are small, but when you speak in faith, you are rousing all of heaven. I created the universe by the word. One sentence, "Let there be light," and light existed. And that very breath I placed in you. When you speak, you are using the divine part I have given. Yet sadly, many use their words to summon fear instead of faith, to affirm darkness instead of light. My child, your mouth can be the gateway of miracles or the place that locks grace out. Therefore, be careful with every word you speak, for heaven is listening. Some say, "What good is it if I say it, nothing changes?" But my child, words do not instantly create what you already see. They sow into what you do not yet see. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not pretending. You are cooperating with God's truth. You are affirming what is real even when your feelings betray you. That is not deceiving yourself. That is training your soul to turn toward the truth. Every faith-filled word is a seed, and I never let that seed die in dry ground. Remember the Roman centurion, a Gentile, yet he understood the power of a word. He said to me, Lord, just say the word, and my servant will be healed. He did not need me to come, did not need me to touch, only to speak. And I marveled at that faith. My child, I do not need you to shout or to swear an oath. I only need you to speak truthfully, with faith and trust. One sincere word in faith is worth more than 1,000 empty words in doubt. When you speak to me, remember you are not speaking into nothingness. Heaven bends low when you pray. I hear your voice, not only your words. There are times when you do not know what to say and only weep. I hear every tear as I hear a song. I do not wait for you to pray perfectly. I only wait for you to dare to pray. For silence in despair is a barrier, but a small word in faith is a door open to grace. Train yourself to speak what is good, right in the midst of pain. When your body is exhausted, say, "The Lord is at work in me." When everything collapses, say, "I trust your plan is still good." When darkness surrounds, say, "The light is coming." Every such word is a heartbeat of faith, making the darkness unable to remain. I have seen souls collapse in silence, but I have also seen the weak rise up with only one word of faith. Many still fear speaking out because they fear disappointment. They think, "What if I say it and it doesn't happen?" But my child, speaking does not make the miracle fail. It makes the miracle begin. For the word you speak in faith does not only change circumstances, it changes you. When you speak what is right, your mind hears it, your soul believes it, and the truth takes root. That is the path of healing, from the mouth to the heart, and then to the life. Your words are the attestation of your faith. Do not use your lips to retell your fears, but to proclaim power. If you keep saying, "I am weak," you will feel weaker. But if you say, "The Lord is strong in me," darkness will have no place. Heaven hears the voice of your heart, but the enemy hears the voice of your mouth. Therefore, do not let your lips serve the darkness. Let them praise the light, for words carry the energy of faith, and faith is never useless. My child, when you speak in faith, you are not only praying, you are cooperating with God. He created the world by the word, and he is still recreating it through the words of those who believe. You are not alone. Every word you speak in. My name is living water flowing through the desert of the soul. It does not stop with you. It reaches those who are thirsting to hear. Therefore speak not to hear yourself, but to let heaven resound with your faith. When you have learned to speak faith, you will realize the miracle does not only come, it remains. For words are the cord that ties faith to reality. A soul that speaks truth, even small truth, will move the heights of heaven. And when your words become witnesses to my power, you will step into an even deeper journey, where a miracle is no longer a moment but a way of life. Therefore, let your words become the heartbeat of heaven on earth. Let every word of yours ring like a prayer, every prayer become an action, and every action be a sign that a miracle is a journey, not a moment. My child, many come to me only to seek an instant touch, a clear sign, a miracle that happens right now. But my child, I am not a repairman to weld a wound in haste. I am the Creator. I remake everything from the root. My miracle does not come like lightning, but like the dawn, slow, gentle, yet certain to drive away the night. Some only see the moment the body is healed, but they do not realize the true miracle began when they were still on their knees in prayer. A miracle does not bloom in a single day. It grows in every breath, every prayer, every tear sown in faith. You see, I am never in a hurry, for I do not only want you to be healed, I want you to learn to live in healing. There are people I have healed, but they returned to their old way of life, bitter, closed off, suspicious. The sickness in the body was gone, but the sickness of the soul remained. That is why I let the miracle unfold step by step, so that while your body is being renewed, your soul is also being reshaped into my likeness. I once said the kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, the smallest of all seeds, Yet when it grows, it becomes a great tree. So it is with a miracle. It is not noisy, not showy, not rushed. It begins in stillness, grows in patience, and blossoms in trust. You may not see it yet, but every day you choose to believe that miracle takes root a little deeper. A miracle is not just a result, it is the journey you walk with me, day by day, breath by breath. Some say, Lord, I have prayed and still seen nothing. But child, seeing nothing does not mean there is nothing. A seed buried in the soil is also covered by darkness, hidden from sight. Yet right in that darkness, life is being formed. So it is with your miracle. It is quietly sprouting in the place your eyes cannot reach. Be patient, for I never begin what I do not intend to finish. Remember how Israel walked in the wilderness for 40 years. I could have led them into the promised land in 40 days, but I chose the longer path because I did not only want them to arrive, I wanted them to be transformed. I did not only want them to have a place to live, but to have a heart that knew how to dwell with me. In the same way, I do not lead you to the miracle quickly. I lead you through the miracle deeply. For what I desire is not that you be satisfied for a moment, but that you be renewed for a lifetime. A true miracle does not make you run after momentary happiness, it brings you into a life of change. When you are healed, I do not want you to go back to what you were. I want you to become different, stronger, gentler, more merciful. A miracle does not end with you, it continues through you. For when you are healed, I want you to become the one who carries miracles to others. You will realize that the path of healing is the path of transformation. Every time you forgive, you take another step. Every time you pray, in the middle of pain, you come closer to the light. And every time you choose love instead of resentment, you are walking in my miracle. A miracle does not happen in one explosive instant, but in 1,000 hidden moments in which you still choose to believe. I know you are tired. I know there are times you want to stop because waiting makes the heart ache. But child, I am walking with you in the tears, in the pain, in the silence. Every time you move forward, even with just one small step, I see it. Your miracle does not lie at the finish line, it lies in every step you faithfully take. There are wounds I heal quickly, but there are also wounds I allow to stay, so that you may learn to lean on me. Do not think that is delay, it is grace prolonged. For if I healed everything in a single instant, you would walk away and forget me. But when the miracle unfolds day by day, you will learn to love me, not for what I do, but for who I am, the one who remains. A miracle is a road not paved with flowers, but with faith. It does not lead you to a place without sorrow. It leads you to the place where sorrow becomes light. When you understand this, you will stop searching for a miracle as something spectacular, and you will begin to live as one who has been given a miracle. My child, keep your heart steadfast. Do not only ask to be healed, ask to be steadfast in healing. For the miracle does not end when the sickness leaves. It ends when you know how to live fully in my love. When you have believed, received, declared, trusted, and spoken it, then now walk in that miracle. Every day, every second, every breath. For the true miracle is not something that happens in a moment. It is an entire life made new in my grace. And then you will know that you are not only someone who has been healed, but someone who has been reborn. Now, my child, take the 5 words I have placed in your heart. Believe, receive, declare, trust, and persevere as the 5 rhythms of the soul which you must live with every day. Do not let these words be only sounds that pass through a prayer, but let them become the breath of your life, dissolved into every thought, every step, every choice. For what I seek in you is not a loud prayer, but a life soaked in faith. When you let these words take root in your heart, what you long for will not come like a sudden flash, but like the dawn, slow, warm, yet surely bathing your whole being in light. My child, do not think that believing is only an act of the mind. Believing is daring to let your heart be vulnerable before me. When you truly believe, you no longer need proof, no longer need to see the result at once, no longer need to explain everything. You only need to know that I am working in silence in ways you do not expect. Picture a tiny seed lying still in the soil, covered in darkness, chilled by the cold. It does not cry out, it does not struggle, but right there in the silence, life begins. Faith is the same. It sprouts in the darkest places of the soul where you see nothing but fragile hope. But if you are willing to stay to believe, then, before long, what you have believed will blossom. And when you receive, do not receive only with your hands, but receive with your whole heart. Receive my love as a thirsty child receives the mother's milk, without reason, without doubt, only knowing it is life. You may not see the miracle right as you open your heart, but believe that every time you receive grace, I am touching another part of your soul. It may be a memory that once hurt you, a wound you thought had closed, or a fear you had never named. I will gently loosen each layer, each knot, until you no longer bind yourself to the past. Receiving is letting me work in you, and nothing delights me more than seeing you let go so that I may take hold. Then when you declare, you are affirming the power of truth over reality. Speak as though what you wait for has already come to pass. Not because you are optimistic, but because you know my word never returns void. Let your mouth become an instrument of faith. Do not use it to repeat your fears, but to sing the melody of hope. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," heaven trembles. When you say, "I trust in His plan," darkness begins to recede. You are not only speaking to yourself, you are declaring to the spiritual realm that you belong to the light. But a declaration without trust is like a tree without roots. The first wind will topple it. Trust is accepting that you do not have to understand everything in order to be at peace. There are days I let you walk in the fog, not because I have abandoned you, but because I want you to learn to listen with your heart. When you walk in the dark and still believe I am going before you, that is trust. When you choose to forgive, even before you are asked, that is trust. When you smile, even without a reason, that is trust. For trust does not make the miracle come faster, it makes the miracle go deeper. And then you will see that a miracle is not only a finish point, it is the journey you walk with me. It does not happen in one glorious instant, but in thousands of ordinary moments. You will find yourself waking up with a mind more peaceful than yesterday, finding your heart lighter, your soul no longer dry. You will realize your body no longer hurts as before, though you cannot remember when exactly it changed. That is how I work, quietly, gently, but steadfastly, like the beating of the heart. My child, do not seek loud signs. I often come in stillness where no one is watching, where it is only you and me. A miracle is not a flash of light, but a deep inner transformation. You may not see the wound disappear at once, but you will see that you are no longer afraid of it. You will see your heart filled with a peace you have never known. That is the very moment I am touching the deepest part of you. Remember, a miracle is not only when you are healed, but when you begin to love again. There are people who are healed in body, yet their hearts are still full of anger. There are people no longer in pain, yet they live in bitterness. Their bodies were healed, but their souls remained barren. But when you learn to love even those who hurt you, when you choose mercy instead of revenge, then the true miracle has taken place. For nothing heals faster than love, and there is no love greater than my love for you. Do you remember the woman caught in adultery, who was dragged before me? They wanted to stone her, to condemn her. But I stooped down and wrote on the ground, then said, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." And when the crowd left, I looked at her and said, "I do not condemn you. Go and sin no more." My child, that was not only a word of forgiveness. It was a miracle of the soul. She was not only forgiven, she was reborn. So it is with you. When you are forgiven, you are not only made clean, you are made new. The miracle I desire for you is not only a healthy body, but a free soul. For the body may be strong today and weak tomorrow, but a soul that has been healed will shine forever in eternity. Do not let your faith stop at "Lord, take away my sickness," but ask to have peace in every circumstance. When your soul is at peace, your body will reflect it. For the body is only a mirror, but the soul is where I engrave the image of life. My child, every time you read these 5 words, let them become living words, not just theory. Speak them in the mist of morning, before fear can creep into your day. Whisper them at night when every sound is quiet and it is only you and me. And live them when the world is stormy, so that others looking at you will know that faith still exists. Then you yourself will become the miracle I want to reveal to the world. For I do not create miracles for you to watch, but for you to become one. When you live in faith, you help others believe. When you receive, you help others learn to open their hearts. When you declare the truth, you strip darkness of its claim. When you trust, you make fear bow. And when you persevere, you let my miracle spread everywhere, through your words, through your eyes, through the way you love. Now be still and receive, my child. I am here, not far, not high above, but right in your breath. Every beat of your heart is my call. Every breath you take is proof that I am still at work. Let faith become your rhythm, so that every passing day is a silent prayer. Do not count what you do. Not yet be grateful that I am still in you. And remember, a miracle is not only something that happens to you, it is what I do through you. When you step out of the days of darkness, you will not only be someone who has been healed, but one who carries light. You will know how to comfort others with the very wounds you once bore, how to wipe away another's tears with the same hands that once trembled in suffering. And then you will fully understand my word today. Miracles do not come to make you marvel, but to make you become like me. So go, my child, carry these 5 words like a burning torch on your journey. Let faith nourish your soul. Let receiving cultivate mercy. Let declaring sustain hope. Let trusting uphold peace. And let steadfastness keep love alive. Let it be that when people look at you, they do not see only a person who has been healed, but the living image of a miracle. And when the last day comes, you will no longer look for a miracle, because in that very hour you will have become my miracle. My child, be still and listen, for what I am about to say is not only a word of comfort, but the very breath of life I am breathing into your soul. The miracle you are longing for is not only to mend what is torn in your body, but to heal your whole being, from the mind that has grown calloused, the heart that has been shattered, to the soul that has grown weary from searching for a closed way. You have thought a miracle is when the pain stops, when sickness disappears, when the storm passes. But no, the true miracle is not only when I quiet the storm at sea, but when you stay at peace in the midst of that storm. For I do not only want you to live, I want you to live in fullness. I see the things you never speak, the smiles you put on for others, while inside you are empty. I hear the sigh you swallow in the middle of the night when you ask, "Lord, how long must I bear this?" You do not know that even in that very tear that fell, I was beside you. When you thought you were losing everything, I was quietly gathering every fragment of you to weave it into something new. I am healing not only what you see, but also what you do not know you have lost. I am touching your mind, that place that for so many years has been tormented by fear and doubt. You have lived too long on the defensive, afraid of being hurt, afraid of failing, afraid of losing, and those very fears have made you close your heart to grace. But my child, I did not come to condemn or to judge. I came to shatter the chains of fear, so that you may know you are loved completely, even while you are still unfinished. When you let me go deep into your mind, I will turn the weary streams of thought into a river of peace. In the place of every negative voice, I will sow one gentle, yet powerful word: you are loved, you are forgiven, and you are chosen. I am also healing your heart where the old wounds still bleed, though you thought you had forgotten. There are hurts you do not dare to mention, memories you keep pressing down so they will not hurt again. But my child, burying is not healing. It is only delaying. Let me step into that dark room where you hide the broken pieces. I do not come to reproach you for being weak. I come to embrace that very weakness and turn it into strength. For the miracle does not come when you are strong, but when you dare to collapse in my arms. Let me wipe away your tears, not so that you may forget, but so that you may look at your pain with eyes of compassion. For when you forgive the one who wounded you, you are the first to be set free. Do you know this? Even in brokenness, there is still the pulse of life. Every shard in you is a part I can use to make something new. When you think you have lost everything, that is the moment I am clearing the ground to begin again. Like a potter who is not afraid of crushed clay, I am not afraid of your ruin. For I do not merely repair you, I recreate you. I make you into something more beautiful than at first, not because you are flawless, but because you have been shaped again in love and in tears. My child, I am renewing your soul. There are things grown old habits, calluses of the heart, that you have mistaken for your nature. But I am quietly changing every fiber of your soul, making you begin to look at the world with different eyes. You will see that what once frightened you will become the very place from which you draw strength. What once brought you pain will become a memory for which you give thanks. You will realize that I do not take anything away unless I intend to give you something better. I am making all things new. Each day you wake, I plant into your life a small thing you do not notice. A seemingly accidental encounter, a gentle word, an unusual stillness. These are all the marks of my hand lightly touching your life. You think it is random, but nothing in me is random. Every breath, every heartbeat, every step you take, all of it lies within the plan of love. You do not have to see the miracle to believe it is happening. You only need to believe that I have never stopped working in you. Do not be afraid, my child. Fear is the voice of the shadows, but faith is the call of the light. Do not doubt, for doubt makes you forget that I am the one who began the good work in you, and I will bring it to completion at the best time. Do not lose heart, for what you are praying for may not yet have appeared, but it is being woven thread by thread. You do not see it, but that does not mean I am not doing it. Let time itself bear witness to my faithfulness. When you look back, you will see my hand in the smallest of things, in what you thought was failure, in the tears that seemed meaningless, even in the falls you once felt ashamed of. All of them are pieces of a great picture, and only when it is complete will you understand why I chose to paint it that way. My child, I am at work in your life, not with thunder or lightning, but with the quiet rhythms of grace. When you are weary, I am lifting you up by the strength of the Spirit. When you are in despair, I am whispering, keep walking, I am still here. When you lose your way, I do not only point to the path, I am the path. I am walking with you through every trial, even when you cannot feel me. Do not mistake my silence for my absence. Silence is how I etch faith deep into your heart. For faith is not born on sunny days, it sprouts in the long night. My child, every wound you carry is a place where I can shine. Every tear that falls is a seed sown into the field of grace. Do not be too quick to wipe away your tears, for tears may be the only language your soul has to speak to me. In silence and suffering, you are being shaped to resemble my image more. I do not let you be hurt so that you will break, but so that you may learn to rise with a new faith, a faith that no longer seeks reward, but only longs to be near me. I know you have grown tired of waiting, but my child, waiting is not stopping. Waiting is part of the miracle. Let your patience become the soil where I sow faith. For when you wait in hope, you are growing. Like a tree in winter, dry and bare on the outside, yet its roots are pushing deeper into the ground to prepare for spring. You think I am silent, but I am teaching you to listen with the heart. And then one day you will realize the miracle did not just arrive, it had been walking with you from the very beginning. As you walk out from this moment, do not think you are alone. Even when you do not feel it, I am right beside you. I am in your breath, in every step, in the dreams you have not spoken. I never take my eyes off you, even when you wander. If you walk into darkness, I will be the small light before your feet. If you stumble, I will bend down and lift you up. If you are lost in fear, I will whisper in the wind, "Do not be afraid, I am here." And when you look back through the years filled with tears and trials, you will see more clearly than ever that I never abandoned you. You will see my hand in what you thought was coincidence. You will recognize that the very moments you thought were the end were the moments I began something new. When you grasp this, your heart will overflow with peace, a peace that does not come from circumstance but from my presence. My child, the journey is not over yet, but do not be afraid, for you are not walking alone. Every step you take, I walk with you. Every second you live, I live in you. When you are weak, I am your strength. When you lose direction, I am your way. When you despair, I am your hope. And when you think you are nothing but ashes, I am the fire that rekindles faith. I am here, I am still here, and I will always be here. Remember this, a miracle is not only what I do for you, but what I do in you. And when you let me work in your heart, you will see that miracle flow outward, touching your family, your friends, and even the souls who are crying out for light. You will become living proof that my love is stronger than every pain, greater than every failure, deeper than every despair. My beloved child, keep walking. You do not need to run, you do not need to strain, you only need to step one small step in faith at a time. I will walk with you until the day you no longer have to believe, because you will have seen. I am with you always, to the very end of the age. And in every heartbeat, every breath, every tear, every smile, I am there, healing, loving you forever. My beloved child, I am the one who saw you before you were formed in your mother's womb. I knew your very first cry, and I know the tears you never dared let anyone see. I am your father, not a distant God, but the one sitting beside you in the quiet room when you are worn out by the weight of yourself. I am the one who heals you, the one who redeems you from the very depths of sin, and also the most faithful friend of your soul. I do not stand far above watching you struggle. I stoop down, take your trembling hand and say, "Rise, I am still here." I am the Lord of the impossible, the one who makes the dead rise, who makes the desert bloom, who makes a barren heart suddenly spring with hope. In this very moment, as you read these words, I am working a miracle in your life, even if you do not see it yet. Even if you still doubt, the miracle is quietly taking place in every breath you take. A miracle is not the clap of thunder or the blaze of light across the night sky. A miracle is that I am keeping your heart beating steadily, even when your soul wanted to stop. It is when you thought you would collapse and yet you found yourself still standing, not because of your strength, but because my hand held you up. It is when you thought you had lost everything and yet there remained in you a fragile faith. That very faith is the seed of life I planted. My child, pause for a moment, breathe deeply, and recognize I am at work in you. Even when you cannot feel anything, even when everything around you seems to have gone dark, I am still moving. My grace is not loud. It moves as gently as breath, yet it is strong enough to transform an entire life. Hold fast to the 5 words I have entrusted to you, as one would hold a small lamp in the night. Believe, receive, confess, trust, persevere. These 5 words are not a ritual, but a rhythm of life, a path I am setting before you. Let them become pillars that steady your soul in the storm. When you believe, you begin the journey. When you receive, you open the door for grace. When you confess, you allow my power to be poured out. When you trust, you learn to lay your burdens down. And when you persevere, you are renewed day by day. Begin with faith. Faith is not a feeling, it is a decision. You do not need to see in order to believe. You believe and then you will see. At times, faith is no bigger than a mustard seed, but in my hand it is enough to move mountains. When you say, "I believe you, Lord," you are saying what all of heaven is singing. Believing does not mean you will understand everything. It means you choose to believe, even when you understand nothing. Faith is daring to take my hand while your eyes are still wet with tears. When you believe you are not alone, I walk with you, I ache with you, I suffer with you. I have never abandoned a child who placed their trust in me, no matter how weak or clumsy they were. After believing, you must learn to receive. Many people ask, but they never receive because they do not believe they are worthy. My child, remember this: I have never chosen the perfect to love. I chose the weak to reveal my strength. I chose the broken to become witnesses of restoration. I chose the unclean to magnify the holiness of grace. Therefore, do not lock yourself inside shame. When I stretched out my arms on the cross, I did not only bear your sin, I also bore your feeling of, "I am not worthy." Receive that love not because you are good, but because I am merciful. When you open your heart, grace will rush in like cool water, washing away every stain and soothing every wound. When you have believed and received, then confess. Your words carry more power than you think. I created the world by my word, and I place that same authority in your mouth. When you say, "The Lord is working in me," you are not daydreaming, you are making room for me to act. Do not speak from fear, speak from faith. Do not speak only what your eyes see, speak what I have promised. When you say, "I am healed," you are affirming truth in the midst of a deceitful world. Heaven hears darkness, trembles, and your own soul is strengthened. Do not let your lips become a nursery for disappointment. Let them be a place where life takes root. But there will be times when you believe, you speak, you receive, and the miracle has still not come. In those moments, I invite you deeper into trust. Trust is not standing and waiting while your heart is anxious. It is sitting still in peace. Trust is letting go of the wheel and allowing me to drive. It is knowing that even when you do not understand where you are going, I do. I did not promise you would not pass through fire, but I did promise to be with you in the fire. I did not promise you would not weep, but I did promise your tears would not be wasted. When you trust, you are letting me lead, and every step you take becomes a journey comforted by my love. And finally, my child, you must persevere. For my miracles are not sparks that flare up and die out, but a journey that keeps on shining. Perseverance is faith wearing time like a garment. It is praying when your heart feels dry, praising when you see no reason to rejoice, walking on when your feet are worn out. You persevere not because you are strong, but because I am holding you up from falling. When you think you have nothing left, that is when my strength begins. I do not need you to run fast, I only need you not to quit, for in that steadfastness I am working more deeply than you know. My child, when you hold these 5 words, you are holding the key to my kingdom. These words are not a formula to get a blessing, but the road to true healing. For the true miracle does not only change circumstances, it changes the person. When you believe, your soul is freed from fear. When you receive, you learn to welcome unconditional love. When you confess, you stand on the side of light. When you trust, you find peace in the storm. And when you persevere, you become living proof that faith overcomes every trial. Remember, my child, I do not only want to do a miracle for you, I want to do a miracle in you. I do not only want to change what is around you, I want to transform who you are. For the greatest miracle is not what you get, but who you become afterwards. You may be healed in your body, but if you have learned to love, to forgive, and to trust, that is the far greater miracle. You do not need to become stronger to be loved. You only need to be tender enough for me to enter. Look back over the days you have lived. How many times did you think you could not go on, and yet here you are? That itself is a miracle. How many times have you prayed in tears, and though the answer has not yet come, you still kept your faith? That is a miracle. How many times have you fallen, yet inside rose a small whisper, "I will rise again," that my child is the miracle. A miracle is not something far away. It is the very resilient breath of a soul that trusts. I know you have grown weary in waiting. You have asked, "Lord, where are you?" And I was silent not because I was far, but because I wanted you to learn to hear by faith, not by feelings. I wanted you to know that true love does not need to be proved by signs, but by presence. I have never left. Even when you turned away, I remained there waiting for you to turn back. When you wept, I counted every tear. When you trembled, I upheld your shoulders. When you stumbled, I did not reproach you. I waited for you to lift your face so I could raise you up. My child, keep walking even when the way looks dim. Walk even when you feel nothing. For I do not require you to understand everything, only to walk with the faith that I am going before you. The road may be long, the wind may be strong, but my hand will never let go of yours. When you stumble, I will catch you. When you are lost, I will find you. When you are tired, I will carry you on my shoulders. For I am not only the Lord of miracles, I am your Lord. And one day when you look back, you will see that every stretch of road, every tear, every prayer, all of it was a piece of a greater miracle I was and am still performing. Then you will no longer ask, "When will the miracle come?" because you will realize your very life is a miracle in motion. So hold tightly to the 5 words I have given. Let them become the breath in every day you live. Let them strengthen you when you are weak, remind you of promises that never change. As you live in these words, you will see my glory unfold not in a single blazing moment, but in a whole life of faithfulness. And then you will know deeply, know with your heart, that I am the Lord your God, the one who heals, the one who redeems, the one who is with you forever. My child, be still, and let your heart grow quiet. For now, I, the living God, am speaking to you, not through the mighty wind, not through the thunder's roar, but through the stillness at the deepest place of your soul. Listen not only with your natural ears, but with the heart that longs for a miracle. For what I am about to say is not merely words, but the breath of life, the pulse of grace. I have seen you not only today, but before time began. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew your name. I set on you an intention, a plan, and a promise. You are not on this earth by accident. You are the work of my hands, my breath in human form. I know the wounds you carry, even the scars you have never spoken of. I hear the sighs of the night, the choked sob when you think no one understands. But I understand. For I once bent down in Gethsemane's night, lonely and drenched in tears, and I once tasted the pain of being turned away from by those I loved. Because of that, I know exactly what a shattered soul feels like, and it is for that very reason that I am here to make you whole again, not only on the outside, but from the roots within. I know you have waited so long for a miracle. You have looked around and seen others healed, restored, raised up, while you remain standing in your place of pain. You asked me, "Lord, why have I not received what I have pleaded for?" My child, understand this. A miracle is not a prize for the more deserving. It is the journey I use to lead a soul to the place where it knows that I, myself, am the prize won. Miracle. When I heal, I do not only change your circumstances, I am recreating you. For the body can recover, but if the heart is not renewed, you are still living in an invisible sickness. I do not want you to be comforted only for a moment. I want you to be truly free. My miracle is not to stop your pain for a little while, but to teach you to walk in light even in sorrow. My child, remember what I begin, I never leave unfinished. I am not a healer who comes and goes. I am the companion for life. When I touch you, I do not take my hand back. When my eyes rest on you, I do not turn them away. You may not see me, but I am working in the silence. Like the potter shaping clay, I am turning your life on. My wheel, sometimes firmly, sometimes gently, but always precisely. What I allow is not to break you, but to bend you into the shape of light. I am not punishing, I am refining. I am not making you weaker. I am teaching you the strength of surrender. You ask me, "How much longer, Lord?" And I answer, "Until you no longer count days, but count grace." A miracle is not a finish line, it is a flow. It does not begin with a lightning strike, but with a drop of dew. It does not arrive in racket and noise, but in the moment you still believe while everything around you seems to be fading. For my child, I am not in a hurry, because what is precious cannot be born in haste. I do not want a miracle that comes and then passes. I want it to take root in your heart so that when storms return in the future, you can still stand and say, "The Lord did this in me, and He is still doing it." There are things you call delay, but in my eyes they are preparation. You are being forged in the fire like refined gold. If I were to perform the miracle before you are ready, it would fade away with your emotions. But if you are willing to walk the whole way, the way of faith, of trust, of perseverance, then the miracle will not only touch your life, it will flow through you to others. I do not only want you to be healed, I want you to become an instrument of healing. You will not only say, "The Lord did this for me." You will live as a living witness that I am still moving in the world. My child, there are people who see my works and cry a miracle, yet a little while later they forget. They treat the miracle like a gift, not a calling. But you, I am calling you into the journey, not just to watch, but to become. Become light in the night, a witness in suffering warmth among souls grown cold. Every step you take with me is part of the miracle. When you forgive, while still being hurt, that is a miracle. When you choose to love, though your heart is still bleeding, that too is a miracle. When you rise again after falling, though no one sees you, heaven still bends low, for that is the moment you are living in the image of the one who made you. I know you want everything to change quickly, but remember, the vine does not bear fruit in a single hot season, but through long months of pruning, shaping, drinking dew, and bearing wind. The miracle in your life is the same, it needs time to mature. Do not fear the silent days. It is in the days that seem to hold nothing that I am building everything. When you do not hear me, it does not mean I am silent. When you do not see me, it does not mean I am absent. Every prayer you utter, every time you choose to believe, every time you do not give up, that is when I lay another stone in the house of miracle I am building in your life. My child, if you could see with spiritual eyes, you would see around you are multitudes of angels moving. They carry every prayer you pray, every tear you shed, every breath you lift up. Nothing is lost. I see it all, I keep it all, and I use it all for good. You think you are forgotten, but in truth you are surrounded by a love the world cannot comprehend. If you wait for the miracle just so the pain will stop, you will always be waiting. But if you walk with me in the pain, you will see that the very pain is turning into the miracle. Miracles do not happen only to prove my power, but to show you your worth. You are worth my touch, worth my waiting, worth my sacrifice. I once went to the cross, not so you would live an ordinary life, but so you would live a life of full meaning. Therefore, when I heal, I do not only restore what was lost, I give you a new purpose. You will become my witness, not mainly by sermons, but by a life transformed. My child, do not fear the days when you see no result yet. Believe that my miracle is still unfolding. Learn to live in the miracle, not only wait for it. Every morning you wake and can still breathe, that is grace. Every time you forgive instead of holding a grudge, that is healing. Every time you smile through tears, that is the victory of grace. A miracle is not only an event, it is the way you see the world once you have let me dwell in your heart, and when you look back, you will realize I have never left. Every moment you thought you were lost, I was carrying you over the rough ground. Every pain you thought you could not bear, I shared it with you. Every time you thought you were about to collapse, I upheld you without your knowing. My child, this journey is not easy, but it is holy precisely because it is not easy. For in every step you take, I have sown a piece of myself. And when you finish that journey, you will not only bear the mark of a miracle, but the seal of eternal love. Therefore, do not seek me only in blazing moments. Seek me in every second you still choose to believe in the dark. Do not only hope for a miracle to happen, let the miracle live in you. Do not only ask for your life to be changed. Let me change your heart. When your heart is changed, everything else will follow. When you walk in faith, every step you take becomes holy ground. When you love though you still ache, I call that victory. When you lift up your head though the world is pressing down on you, I call that a miracle. The true miracle is not a single moment when you are healed, but an entire life being renewed. It does not begin with a light bursting from heaven, but with a small light in your heart where you dare to believe, dare to love, and dare to live, even when everything is not yet perfect. Let me walk with you day by day. Let me teach you that the miracle is not ahead of you, but is happening right now while you are still here listening to my voice. For I am your God, the one who works every miracle, and I tell you the truth, what I have begun in you will not stop halfway. You will be healed not only in your body but in your soul. You will be renewed not only in your feelings but in your very being. And then one day when you look back, you will understand every pain, every trial, every tear, each of them was a stone laid along the path of your miracle. My beloved child, do not be afraid, for I am still working miracles day by day, hour by hour, breath by breath, and that miracle is you. My child, sit down in stillness so your heart no longer runs after the noise of the world, and listen carefully to what I am about to speak. For from this moment on I will reveal to you the wondrous power of 5 small words that reach all the way to the heights of heaven, 5 words which, when you speak them in faith, cause all of heaven to move and leave the darkness unable to remain. Those 5 words may seem simple, but they are the keys that open the miracle, the knocking on heaven's door, the breath of a soul that knows how to live beneath grace. You will not merely read them with your lips. You must speak them with a heart that has been fired in the furnace of faith. For when your mouth utters those words, your very soul will begin to tremble before my life. My child, when I say to you, "The Lord is healing me," I am not teaching you to speak something nice just to please me, but teaching you to declare a holy reality that is taking place in the unseen. You do not speak to persuade me. You speak to awaken yourself. For I have never forgotten you. It is only that you have been too busy staring at your pain to notice my hand at work. Every time you speak, those vibrations of faith slip into every wound, touch the places you did not know were cracked, and there the miracle begins to sprout. This is not magic, but communion. When your soul aligns with my will, earth touches heaven and heaven touches earth again. Those 5 words, "The Lord is healing me," are not a plea but a sacred proclamation. In each word is the breath of life. In each sound is the power of my might. When you speak them, you are standing on the ground of faith, declaring that darkness no longer has the right to occupy you. You are boldly affirming to the world and to your own mind that I am at work even when you do not yet see it. And when you dare to believe that the healing has already begun, picture this, a tiny seed buried deep in the earth, covered by cold and darkness. No one sees it sprouting, no one hears the sound of its shell cracking. And yet day by day, hour by hour, something within it is shifting. Your faith is the same. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are sowing a seed. It does not blossom at once, but I see the roots spreading. Every word you speak is a drop of water, a ray of light nourishing that seed until the day it rises, breaking through the hard soil of fear and doubt. You once asked, "Why does God make me repeat this every day?" My child, because every time you say it, you win over doubt one more time. Every time you say it, you choose to stand on truth rather than on feelings. I know you are weak. I know the night still makes you tremble because the wound isn't fully healed. But I want you to know this. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are teaching your soul to breathe in rhythm with heaven. You do not speak in order to make the miracle happen. You speak to keep your heart from forgetting that the miracle is already happening. Many people pray to me with a desperate voice, "Please, Lord, do it. Please heal me." But I want you to speak differently. I want you to speak like one who knows they have been chosen, like one who understands that grace is not a gift for the beggar, but for the believer. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are no longer standing in the position of a petitioner, but in the position of a companion, walking with me, witnessing with me the work that is being brought to completion. My child, those 5 words are not to be read like an incantation, but to be lived like a living word. You must speak them while you work, while you are weary, while the tears fall, while the sickness has not yet left, while the people around you still doubt. For when you speak in the midst of pain, that is true faith. I do not need you to believe once everything is fixed. I need you to believe when your heart is breaking. Those very words will hold you steady when the world pulls away, when fear presses down, when the night draws near. Do you know this? Every one of those words is like a step along the path of healing. The first step, you say it with your lips. The second step, you begin to feel the words slipping into your heart. The third step, it becomes your very breath, no effort needed, only living. And then at some point, you will realize you no longer even need to say it, because your very life has become that word. I want you to understand the power of the miracle does not lie in your repetition, but in your believing. There are souls who say it 1,000 times and see nothing because they speak to test me, not to unite with me. But there are those who speak it once, and heaven opens because they spoke with a heart fully broken before me. My child, faith does not require you to shout. It only requires you to be sincere. Look back over your life. How many times I rescued you from dark turnings. How many times I came when you thought there was no way out. Do you see? Even when you had not yet asked, I had already acted. So now when you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are only naming what I have already been doing. You are harmonizing with heaven, speaking in unison with truth. And how my heart delights when I hear that word from your mouth. It draws me close. It softens my heart toward you. It calms the storm within you. If you let those 5 words become your heartbeat, they will teach you to see life differently. You will no longer see pain as a punishment, but as the doorway through which grace walks in. You will no longer see delay as neglect, but as the time I am carefully working in you. You will no longer see loss as an ending, but as the empty space I intend to fill with something better. Every time you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are softening the dry soil of your heart so that the seed of peace can grow. Do not be afraid if today you feel nothing. My miracles do not always come with trembling or thunder, but in small changes. Today you worry less than yesterday. That is a miracle. Today you find it easier to forgive. That is a miracle. Today you dare to speak love to someone who once hurt you. That too is a miracle. My miracles are not showy. They are quiet but steady, like light slipping through every crack. And when you speak those 5 words long enough, deep enough, you will find yourself changed. Not because I have changed your circumstances, but because you have changed the way you see them. You no longer fear pain because you know I am in it. You no longer fear loss because you understand that nothing is truly lost if it brings you nearer to me. That is the greatest miracle, the miracle of transformation. My child, let these 5 words become your breath, your heartbeat, your steps. Speak them when you are weak, for it is then that they carry power. Speak them when you are joyful, so I may be glorified in that joy. Speak them when you do not know what to pray for. They are enough to cover your whole life. Every time you speak, I hear. Every time you believe, I act. And every time you persevere, I write the miracle further with your very breath. My beloved child, those 5 words are not only for you to memorize, but for you to live. For when you live in them, you will see that the miracle is no longer what I do for you, but what I do in you. And one day when you look back, you will see every pain, every tear, every lonely night was a step I led you through, so that you would become the living testimony that true miracles do not descend in a moment, but are written across a lifetime of trust. Therefore, my child, keep speaking, keep believing, keep walking. Do not wait until everything is perfect to declare what is good. It is precisely when you are trembling, yet still speaking, that heaven is opening. It is precisely when you are weak, yet still believing, that the miracle is moving. And it is exactly when you dare to say in the darkness, "The Lord is healing me," that I am doing it within you right now and forever. My beloved child, when your mouth lifts up the words, "The Lord is healing me," you are not merely reciting a sentence, you are awakening an entire heaven within your own soul. Every sound, if it rises from a believing heart, becomes a beam of light piercing through every layer of despair, fear, and pain. Do you know when you speak those words, I am right there in every breath you take, in every trembling beat in your chest, and in every tear you thought was meaningless? You are proclaiming me as Lord, not only on the throne, but inside your very pain, among the fragments you are trying to mend. You are calling me the one whose power rises above every limit, every medical verdict, every disappointment, even above what you cannot understand. You are telling the world that healing is no longer something to wait for tomorrow, but something unfolding quietly yet mightily in this very present moment. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not begging for a miracle. You are walking with the miracle. You are partnering with my power, a power that does not need your perfection, only your surrender. That word is not just a declaration, it is the union of your soul with my spirit. It is like when a seed falls into the soil. It does not need noise, but in the silence, life begins to stir. Each time you speak it in faith, you are watering the seed of the miracle in your heart. Do not think that because you do not see anything, nothing is happening. For the greatest works I do are often in the places you cannot see. I created the universe by the word, do you remember? Let there be light, and light appeared. In the same way, I have given you the same breath, the same capacity, so that your words can shape reality. But my child, what I have given you is not for repeating laments, but for creating faith. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are placing a sacred imprint in the midst of life's chaos, declaring that my power is greater than fear, my grace wider than failure, and my love deeper than every wound. That very word is the door through which grace pours in. You often think a miracle is a moment, but, my child, a miracle is a flow, unceasing, unhurried, unfailing. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not calling a miracle to come. You are recognizing that the miracle has never left. It has been flowing through you even when you sat in darkness, even when your faith was small, even when you had nothing left but a tired word. I hear, I act, and I keep pouring my power into those who dare to speak by faith, even if they tremble, even if they are weak. Remember, that word is not a formula, but the confession of a heart that has touched truth. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are letting me speak from within you. You are admitting that you cannot save yourself, and that is the very beginning of freedom. For when you stop trying in your own strength, then I can act in fullness. I do not need you to be strong, I need you to be sincere. For only in honest weakness is my power made clear. There are some who say it out of habit, but my child, words carry no power when faith is absent. What moves heaven is not the sound of the voice, but the heart that believes what it says. Speak to me as you would speak to your very pain, firm, trusting, and gentle. Every time you say, "The Lord is healing me," imagine that you are placing your soul into my palm, where I cradle it, soothe it, and restore every shattered piece. Do you remember the woman who had been sick for 12 years? She did not cry out, she did not beg me to notice her. She only whispered within herself, "If I just touch his cloak, I will be healed." That sentence, only a thought, contained the whole of faith, and in that very moment power went out. I turned not because she touched me, but because she said in her heart what was true. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are doing the same. You are touching me by faith, by the longing to be made new. And I, who hear even the faintest whisper, will never ignore it. I know there are times you say those words while your heart is full of doubts. You think, "Lord, I have been saying this, and nothing seems to happen." But my child, I do not measure the strength of your word by how many times you say it, but by how firmly you hold to it in the storm. Keep speaking even when your eyes see nothing. Keep believing even when your heart shakes. For every word you utter is one more step toward what I have already ordained. Do not stop when your feelings grow cold, because a miracle does not need feelings. A miracle needs faith that endures. There are miracles you think I am delaying, but in truth I am cultivating. If I gave you the miracle before you were ready, you would lose it. That is why when you say, "The Lord is healing me," I am not only touching your body, I am teaching your soul how to live in that healing. I am cleansing you of the habit of doubting, of the slavery to visible results. I am turning you from one who chases miracles into one who lives inside the miracle. My child, I want you to know that the words you release can change the very atmosphere around you. A gloomy room can become holy the moment you breathe out, "The Lord is healing me." Wherever that word is spoken, there I am. When you speak in faith, I do not only come, I dwell. Every prayer, every utterance is like a holy breath, awakening life in the ashes. Do not wait until you feel peace to speak, because it is precisely when you speak in the storm that peace begins to arrive. When you are weak and still declare, "The Lord is healing me," heaven rejoices. For you are stepping out of the safety of reason onto the waters of faith, and there is where I am, not where you understand, but where you choose to trust. Speak to me not only with your mouth, but with your life. Every action of yours, every wounded choice, if laid in faith, is another way of saying, "The Lord is healing me." When you forgive the one who hurt you, when you dare to smile, though the pain remains, when you keep praying, though you see nothing, all of that is living speech, a hymn that I hear more clearly than 1,000 songs. My child, do not be afraid if at times your heart is frail. I do not expect you to be strong all the time. I expect you to be faithful. Every time you fall and still say, "The Lord is healing me," you have already defeated the darkness. Every time you say it in the midst of despair, you have caused the power of fear to dissolve. And you are not alone in that word, for when you speak, all of heaven joins your voice, so that my power may be revealed in a small person who dared to believe. Then one day you will look back and realize that the words you once said with tears in your eyes were the very cord that drew you from the depths to the dawn. You will understand that the times that felt most hopeless were the times I was working most powerfully. A miracle does not always come with noise. It comes like dew seeping into every dry corner of the soul. And when the dawn of grace breaks forth, you will know not a single word you said was wasted. Therefore, my child, do not be afraid to repeat it. Do not be afraid to say it again. Each time you say, "The Lord is healing me," let it sound like the heartbeat of faith. Let that word become your breath, your rhythm, the foundation of all hope. Do not wait to see before you believe. Believe so that you may see. For when you believe, the unseen becomes real, and the impossible becomes possible. I tell you, a miracle is not a single flash of glory, but a lifetime of learning to trust what you cannot yet see. Every word you speak in faith is one more step on that journey. Keep walking, do not stop, for I am walking with you right in every word you speak. And when your mouth falls silent, I will go on speaking for you. You have been healed, my child, because you have believed. My child, speak, believe, and walk. For in your very word the miracle does not merely begin, it is continuing, unceasing, untiring, undimmed, until your life itself becomes the testimony that the Lord still heals and His love never stops. My beloved child, listen very carefully to what I am about to say, for this is not only counsel, but the key that opens the door to healing and renewal. Every day you live, every breath you take, and every beat within your chest, all of it is already bearing witness to a wonder taking place in you. I want you to repeat these words, not as an empty habit, but as a bridge between your soul and my heart. Let every word you speak carry the breath of faith, the strength of hope, and the quiet flame of love burning within you. When the dawn breaks and darkness still lingers on the window frame, open your mouth and speak those confessions. Do not wait for your faith to feel ready. Speak even if your voice trembles, even if your eyes are still wet from a restless night. For in the very moment you are weakest, your words are strongest. Let your morning begin, not with a sigh, but with the declaration that the Lord is here and He is working in you. Every word you whisper at daybreak will be like golden thread weaving the garment of faith around your whole day. When you speak, you are not only calling my name, you are calling your own name back to life, calling your soul to wake up, calling hope to rise after a long, dark night. And when the sun is high and the press of duties, when your body is tired, your mind scattered, and your worries rise like waves, pause for a moment. Gently close your eyes and say those words once more. You do not need to be elaborate. You do not need a loud voice. You only need a sincere breath. Even when you whisper, heaven hears. Remind your soul, the Lord is healing me. Not only when you are sick, but even when you are well, for the miracle is not only for the hour of weakness, but for every moment you need to be renewed. The more you repeat it, the more you allow the Holy Spirit to work in the depths of your being, in the place where my hand is touching what your eyes cannot see. And when you face trials, when doubt and despair creep in like cold mist, let those words become the anchor that keeps your heart from drifting away. Say them when your mind is tangled, when your prayers seem to lose strength, when you feel I am far. For my child, I have never been far. I only wait for you to open your mouth, because when you call, you are admitting you are not enough on your own. Every word you speak in that moment is like a lamp lit in the storm. It may not drive the storm away at once, but it keeps your soul from being swallowed. You repeat those words not because I cannot hear, but because your soul needs to hear itself. For sometimes you do not need an outward miracle, you need your inner faith to be awakened again. Say them when you feel weak, when your body aches, when your heart is worn out. Not to deny reality, but to remind yourself that pain does not have the right to define you. Say, the Lord is healing me, as though you were dropping water into a barren desert. Every time you say it, the soil of your heart softens a little more, ready for the seed of peace to sprout. Even if you see no change, keep speaking. Even if the miracle has not appeared, keep believing. For I am working even when you cannot feel anything. Every confession is a brick building the house of faith, where you will take refuge in life's storms. And when night falls and the noise of the day grows, still speak those words as a lullaby to your own soul. Say them in the quiet between slow breaths, as though you were laying your whole heart in my hand. Say, the Lord is with me, and let go of every weight. Let your word be the blanket over your soul, so I may enfold you in peaceful rest. When you speak before closing your eyes, you are not just ending a day, you are handing your whole life into my care. And in that very sleep I will keep working, healing, washing, restoring. For I never sleep. I always guard your dreams. You will ask, Lord, why must I say it so often? Because my child, words are the breath of the soul. If you stop speaking, the faith in you will slowly fade. Every confession you make is one heartbeat of belief. One more time you push back the darkness. When you speak, your word is not meaningless. It is the echo of power, the resonance of the Holy Spirit within you. The more you speak, the more you stay connected to my life. Do not let your mouth speak only of fear, of pain, of disappointment. Let it become the gate through which life flows. For your words are not earthly noise, they are the voice of a soul touched by my spirit. Remember, a miracle is not when everything around you changes, but when you change the way you look at everything. Every word you speak is a declaration before heaven that you still choose to believe, you still choose to love, you still choose to live. And when heaven hears that faithful sound, I will stir up a new wind on the road you walk. Do not consider your words small. They are a beam of light piercing the night. You do not need to see results instantly, for every confession is a seed, and every seed needs time to sprout. You may feel empty when you repeat those words. You may think I keep saying it, and nothing is happening. But my child, it is precisely when you think it is useless that I am working the most powerfully. You do not know that with every repetition, fear is weakening, despair is retreating, and faith is growing stronger. When you speak, you are not only building the future, you are breaking the chains of the past. I see every time you try to open your mouth, though your throat is tight, and I call that courage. You do not know this, but your confession is creating a sound that all of heaven is listening to. The angels rejoice every time you say, "The Lord is healing me." They carry that word and let it touch other souls so that the miracle is no longer yours alone, but spreads like a holy flame. When you speak, you are lighting faith in the one beside you and those who are weaker than you. For light never stays in one place. It spreads it, shines it, awakens. And you, my little one, are that lamp in my hand. When you speak it again and again each day, I know there will be moments you grow tired, but stay steadfast. For faith is not measured by feeling, but by perseverance in testing. Keep speaking, even when your heart does not feel. Keep believing, even when your eyes do not see. Keep walking, even when your legs still tremble. The miracle will not come like a thunderclap, but like dew, gentle, quiet, but deeply soaking in. I do not need you to be strong, I need you to be faithful. It is your perseverance that will open the gates of heaven in ways you did not expect. Let those words become the very breath of your life. Let them soak into every rhythm, every step. When you work, when you cry, when you laugh, when you are silent, speak. For that word will not remain only on your lips, but will slowly become part of you. It will renew your mind, change the way you see the world, and even change the way the world sees you. For whoever lives by the true word becomes a witness of the truth. There will come a day when you no longer have to force yourself to say it, because the word has already merged with your very being and become the natural breath of your soul. You will speak without strain, believe without struggling, live without fear. And then you will understand those words did not just heal you, they transformed you. You are no longer the weak one seeking a miracle, but the one carrying the miracle within. My child, I want you to remember this. The confessions you speak are not empty. They are filled with the breath of the Holy Spirit they carry, my very power. They bear the resonance of heaven, the strength of faith, and the life of hope. Every time you speak, I hear. Every time you believe, I act. And every time you endure, I complete the work of healing in you. Therefore, keep speaking when the light blazes and also when the darkness covers. Speak as if every word of yours is an arrow cutting through the mist, a seed sown into dry ground, a hymn rising in the storm. The more you speak, the more you are transformed. The more you confess, the more you are strengthened. The more you live in that word, the freer you become. For my child, the miracle is not in the words you say, but in the heart that believes as it speaks. And when that faith is joined to that confession, heaven and earth will meet. Power will be set in motion. And you will know that what I promise, I perform. What I touch, I renew. What I begin, I finish. Speak, my child, for every word of yours is the heartbeat of heaven within the earth. And when you speak, heaven listens. My child, when you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not merely uttering a sentence. You are opening a door for heaven's power to enter the world. Every sound released from your lips, if it is woven with faith, becomes a wave of light pushing back the night of despair. For faith is not just a vague idea in the mind, but the very life force of the Spirit, the thing that makes what is unseen become present, that turns what is impossible into possible. When you speak with faith, you are awakening the divine spring within you, the place where I have already placed a part of myself, waiting for you to believe so that power may be released. Faith is the very substance of hope. It is the voice of the soul that speaks before the eyes. See, it is the step that moves before the road appears. No one sees the wind, yet all know it is blowing. So too, no one sees faith, yet the world will know when faith is at work. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are sowing a seed into the air, and heaven listens in order to make that seed sprout. No word spoken in faith falls into nothingness, for heaven never ignores the voice of the one who believes. When you let that word flow out of faith and not out of fear, the whole invisible realm begins to move. I, the one who spoke, and all things were made, am still working through those who believe in that word. When I created the world, I did not wave my hand. I simply said, "Let there be light," and light came to be. Today it is the same. When you speak in faith, you are partnering with me in the creative work of life. Every word you utter in trust is a command for darkness to retreat, for sickness to dissolve, for peace to be established. Faith moves mountains, not because the mountain moves by itself, but because I am in the one who speaks. Faith stills the storm, not because the waves fear you, but because they recognize my voice in your words. When you speak in faith, both heaven and earth respond. You think you are speaking alone, but in truth, the angels are listening, the darkness is trembling, and life is rejoicing. For where there is faith, there I am, and where I am, nothing can stand against my power. My child, you must understand that faith is not a feeling, it is a choice. There will be days when your heart is empty, your lips are dry, and you have no strength left to pray. But if in that very moment you can still whisper a small sentence, "The Lord is healing me," then it is in that moment that faith is working the strongest. For true faith does not need proof, it only needs faithfulness. When you speak in the storm, you are reminding both heaven and hell that you belong to the light, and the darkness cannot steal what I have promised. I have seen the weakest ones speak the strongest words. A mother through tears still whispers, "The Lord is healing my child." A gravely ill person through broken breaths still says, "The Lord is working in me." And I have seen miracles bloom from those trembling sentences. For the power is not in the volume, but in the believing heart. The smallest sentence, if spoken in faith, can move all of heaven. When you speak in faith, you are creating the atmosphere in which miracles are born. Just as a seed can only grow in good soil, a miracle can only happen in a believing heart. Every declaration you make clears the air around your soul, driving out doubt and fear, opening the way for my spirit to move. At that moment, you are no longer begging to see. You are living as though you have already seen. And in the spiritual realm, that is the very moment the miracle is set in motion. Imagine this: when you say, "The Lord is healing me," I begin to move. Not because you command me, but because I have chosen to cooperate with your faith. Faith is the key that opens the door of the kingdom. It draws what is in the unseen into the seen. And when I move, nothing can hinder. Sickness must flee. Pain must dissolve. Fear must bow, and despair must fall silent. For I am the Lord your God, the one who holds the universe in my hand, and nothing is too hard for me. Do not let delay discourage you. When you speak in faith and still do not see results, do not be quick to doubt. The miracle is not late. It arrives at the very time when I want you to be stronger. Each time you declare, you are enriching the soil of faith. Each time you speak, you are watering the seed of hope. You may not yet see the plant, but the seed has already cracked open underground. That is how faith works. It works in silence, but its results are never silent. I know there are days you are tired when your mouth wants to be silent, and your heart is heavy from waiting. But my child, silence in doubt is a prison, while words in faith are freedom. When you speak, you are breaking the chains of fear. Let your word be the torch lighting the way for your soul, for darkness can only win when you are silent. Keep speaking, even if your voice is hoarse, even if your heart is trembling, for I hear every word, every breath, every sob. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not only speaking for yourself, you are bearing witness before heaven and earth that you trust in me. Every time you speak, you reaffirm the bond between you and me, a cord that darkness cannot cut. For it is through faith that the flow of my power is opened. I do not need you to be perfect. I only need you to be genuine. When your word comes from a broken heart, I hear it as a song. When you speak in suffering, I hear it as a hymn of hope. My child, remember, I once brought Lazarus back to life with a single call. I stilled the storm with only one sentence. A word spoken out of faith carries my breath. You too carry that breath, for you were made in my image. Every time you declare in faith, you are continuing the creative act of the one who made the universe. When you speak, heaven listens not only with ears, but with compassion. Keep speaking, not because you must persuade me, but because you are teaching your own soul to remember the truth. Every word you speak is one more step toward what I have promised. Faith does not make me change my mind. It makes you align with my will. And when those two wills, yours and mine, are joined, the miracle is no longer a possibility, but a certainty. So then, my child, do not speak to wish, speak to affirm. Do not speak out of fear, speak out of love. Do not speak like one demanding, speak like a child addressing their father. And when you speak like that, my power will flow not only to heal you, but so that through you this world may know that I am still working, still loving, still saving. Therefore, when you open your mouth, speak with all your heart, with all the life within you. Let your lips resound, not as a cry for help, but as a declaration of faith. The Lord is healing me. And the very moment those words are spoken, heaven moves, the earth listens, and the miracle begins. My child, I want you to understand this deeply, for it goes far beyond the limits of the human body or human emotion. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not merely speaking of a pain in the flesh, a wound on the skin, or a passing weariness in the soul. No, my child, you are uttering a sacred invitation, an opening of the door for me to enter every corner of your life, where my light can touch and cause all things to come alive again. For healing is not only to make something hurt less, but to bring every part of you back into the order of love, where I am at the center and you live in union with me. When you speak those words, you are opening yourself for me to heal your body, where every weary cell still carries the memory of wounds. I will touch every part of you where pain has left its trace, where sickness has made you forget the joy of being alive. I will breathe the breath of new life, making what was old become new, making your body stop trembling in fear and begin to trust in my hand. But the healing does not stop there, for the body is only the outer shell of a deeper reality. When you invite me in, you are calling me to heal your mind, where countless mixed voices of worry, fear, and self-blame have imprisoned you behind invisible walls. I will gently loosen every binding cord. I will cause old patterns of thought and the judgments you once believed to be the truth to fade away under the light of my word. For many years you have allowed the words of others to define your worth. You have believed that you were not good enough, not strong enough, not holy enough to be worthy of love. But my child, I have never loved you because you were enough. I love you so that you may become enough. When I heal your mind, you will realize that peace does not come when problems disappear, but when you know that I still reign right in the midst of all that is tangled. Then I will go deeper still into your emotions, that soil where so many tears have fallen and never dried, where old wounds still throb when even a breeze passes by. Do you know many times you think you have forgiven, but in truth, you have only stopped mentioning it? Many times you think you have forgotten, but in truth, you have only been afraid to remember. I will enter that deepest place where you were once left behind, where you were once misunderstood, where you once felt worthless. I do not come to reproach you for being weak. I come to restore worth to every tear. I will teach you that no pain is ever wasted if you let me touch it. I will take the very thing that made you collapse and make it the place where you rise, not by your own strength but by mine. But my child, true healing does not stop with emotion. It goes all the way into your soul, where there are wounds you yourself do not even know you carry. There are nights when your heart is heavy and you do not know why. There are mornings when you see the light yet still feel darkness inside. That is your soul crying out to be restored, calling my name in the silence. And I, the one who knows every breath of yours, still wait patiently for you to open the door. My child, when you allow me to enter your soul, I will do what no one else can do. I will turn barrenness into fruitfulness, guilt into testimony, desolation into a temple. I will take the death you thought was the end and make it the beginning of new life. When you say the Lord is healing me, you are calling me not only into your present but into your buried past and your unwritten future. I will touch the memories of the days when you were wounded, the words people said that made you believe you were unloved, the moments when you wished you could disappear. I will step into those places not to erase memory, but to lay my light upon it. You will remember, but you will not hurt. You will look back, but you will not resent, for I will make the old wounds become testimonies of everlasting love. And I will also touch your future, where you still fear what has not yet happened. You fear losing, you fear failing, you fear being alone, you fear not being enough. But I say to you, do not be afraid, for I go before you on every path. Your future is not dark, it is only blurred by your tears. When you let me wipe your eyes, you will see that the light has always been there. My child, I do not merely patch up what is broken, I restore all that has been shattered. I will gather the fragments of your broken faith and recast them into a vessel more solid than before. I will renew all that has worn out in you, your zeal in prayer, your trust in human kindness, your simple joy in living. All these I will bring back to life. For I am the one who makes what has died breathe again, who makes what the world has called lost still bear fruit. I do not do this only because of power, but because of love. Love is the only reason I have never ceased to act. You may doubt, you may be weak, you may fall, but I never change. I do not grow tired of lifting you up. I do not grow weary of hearing your cries. I am not annoyed when you do not yet understand, for my love has no condition, no limit, no end. You do not have to be worthy to be loved. You only need to remain in that love to be made new. I tell you truly, my little one, I will do it. I will heal you in a way you did not expect. I may not cause the pain to vanish at once, but I will make that pain meaningful. I may not take away the burden, but I will teach you how to carry it without collapsing. I may not open the way immediately, but I will let you see the light right in the place of darkness. For my miracle is not to keep you from the storm, but to teach you peace in the storm. I will restore you little by little, not hurriedly, not leaving anything out. Each day I will pick up one part of you that the world once made you lose: faith, hope, kindness, purity, courage. I will not let your soul wither, for I, myself, am the ever-flowing spring. When you are weak, I am strength. When you are weary, I am rest. When you are lost, I am direction. When you feel useless, I will remind you that you still bear my image, and I will make you whole. Not whole in the way you imagine, not flawless, but whole in love. You will learn to look at yourself with my gaze, gentle, forgiving, full of hope. You will learn to love others not because they deserve it, but because you have been loved that way. You will learn to live not out of fear, but out of faith. And then you will understand that the true miracle is not outward change, but inner renewal. My child, believe this: I am the Lord, the one who heals you. There is no wound too deep, no past too dark, no soul too barren for my love to make it blossom. I am faithful to every word I have spoken. I do not promise and forget. I do not begin and leave unfinished. Everything I say I bring to completion, for I am not only the one who can heal, but the one who wants to heal. And I do it not because you have begged enough, but because I have loved you enough. So then, my beloved child, lift up your head. Do not look at the wound, look at the hand that is touching it. Do not look at the past, look at the light that is coming. Do not fear tomorrow, for I am already there waiting for you. Your miracle is not far away. It is happening right now in every heartbeat, in every breath, in every moment. You dare to believe that my love is greater than your pain. And when you realize this, you will see everything that has passed, however dark, has only been the backdrop for my light to shine forth. I have begun, I am at work, and I will finish. For I am the Lord, the one who heals you, the one who never breaks his word, and the one who is always with you, even to the end of the age. My child, listen very carefully, for this is what I want to engrave upon your soul. The words you speak in faith do not only touch your own life, but they resound before my glorious throne. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not only speaking about yourself, but you are opening your mouth to proclaim my name in this world. You are making the heavens be glorified, my power be revealed, and even the angels bow before the faith of a fragile soul that knows how to put its trust in me. Every word you speak in faith, however small, carries a sacred resonance. It shakes the clouds of doubt and calls my light to shine upon the very place where you stand. My child, when you say, "The Lord is healing me," heaven records it not simply as a request, but as a declaration of faith. You are proclaiming that I am the God of miracles, the one who makes the impossible become possible, the one who overturns adversity and turns tears into peace. You are making every power of darkness know that my power is still alive, still breathing, still working among men. When your lips speak that, you are not only strengthening your own heart, but you are kindling a flame for many other souls whose hope is fading. Do you understand, my child? Every time you proclaim me, you are redrawing the line between darkness and light. Darkness cannot endure hearing my name exalted, and for that very reason your words, if spoken with true faith, become a spiritual weapon. When you declare that the Lord is working in me, every plan of the evil one to bring you down must retreat, not because you have strength, but because you bear my name upon your lips. It is I who fight for you. It is I who turn what seemed hopeless into a testimony of my glory. My child, do not make light of your words. How many have been transformed simply by hearing one word of faith from someone who once fell? When you speak, you are not speaking only for yourself, but for my kingdom. Every word you utter in faith is a brick building my temple in this world full of doubt. You become a living witness, not needing dazzling signs, but simply living truthfully with what I am doing in you. When you dare to say, "The Lord has touched me," you are opening the way for me to touch others. Remember, my child, I do not only want you to be healed, I want through you many others to be awakened. The miracle in you does not end with you. It is a stream of water that spreads outward, soaking the dry ground around you. When people see you, the one who once despaired, once suffered, once thought you had lost everything, now standing with shining eyes and a peaceful smile, they will not be able to keep from asking, "What brought about this change?" And then you will say, "It was my Lord who did it." My child, that is the moment I am exalted. That is when the miracle in you becomes a testimony to the nations. I want you to understand that my glory is not found only in extraordinary wonders, but in hearts that have been made new. When you change, when you walk in peace, when you forgive instead of holding resentment, when you love instead of judging, that is when the world sees me. My glory is not only in the highest heavens, it is in those who dare to live by faith every single day. Therefore, every time you confess, you are offering me a song of praise through your very life. My child, do you know why I love your voice so much? Because it is proof that I am still being believed, that in the midst of this cold world, there is still a soul calling my name with all its affection. Every word you utter is a ray of light piercing the night, a signal to other souls that God is still here. When you speak, you are not only comforting yourself, you are bearing witness to my presence. Others may never read Scripture, but they will read your life. They will see me in you, in the way you forgive, in the way you rise again, in the way you keep believing when belief seems impossible. When you proclaim that I am the healer, I promise to fulfill the words you speak, not because you deserve it, but because you believe. I never let a word of faith fall into emptiness. I gather every word, every syllable, every breath of yours, and I turn them into reality in my appointed time. But remember, when I do it, I do not do it only so that you may rejoice, but so that my glory may be revealed. When people see the change in you, they will know that only I could have done that. My child, my glory is not something to be put on display like an ornament, but something that shines into human hearts. When I am glorified through your life, others will be guided. They will see the miracle in you and will believe that I can do the same in them. Therefore, speak your faith not with pride but with humility. Do not speak to show off what you have received, but to honor the one who gave it. When you do that, your words become a fragrance, and your very life becomes a living sermon for my kingdom. Do not be afraid that you are small, or that your words carry no weight. A single drop cannot make an ocean, but when it joins 1,000 other drops, it becomes the sea. In the same way, your words, if spoken in faith, will join the flow of my kingdom, and together with countless other voices, they will form the symphony of redemption. Every time you confess, you are adding one more note to my song of glory, so that the whole world may know that the Lord is still moving, still showing mercy, still healing. My child, when you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not only recounting what has happened, you are prophesying what is coming. You are calling my power into the present moment. You are telling the whole world He is working right now. You are turning a dark moment into an altar, turning pain into a place where I am honored. It is precisely when you are weakest, when your words tremble, that I see my glory shining brightest. For I do not need a shout, I only need a sincere whisper, "I trust you." So then, my child, speak. Whether you are in the night or in the noonday, let your mouth be the door through which light goes forth. Do not speak out of fear, speak out of gratitude. Do not speak like someone who is still chasing what has not come. Speak like someone who has already touched the eternal. For when you speak, you do not speak only for yourself, but for my whole kingdom, so that the nations may know that I am still alive, still loving, still healing, and that I will forever be the one who never changes. And then when people see you, no longer the one in pain, but the soul revived, they will recognize my glory in your eyes, in your smile, in the way you live. In that moment, you will not need to say anything more, because your very life will have become the language of heaven. My beloved child, engrave this deeply in your heart. The words I speak to you today are not a rite to be done once and forgotten, nor are they sentences reserved only for your weakest hours. They are the breath of faith, the lifestyle of a soul that knows it belongs to me. I do not want you to say these words only when pain surrounds you or when tears overflow, but to say them in every moment, when you rejoice and when you grieve, when you stand firm and when you fall, when your faith burns like fire and when it only flickers like a dying ember. For these words are not built on your emotions, but on the foundation of eternal truth. Truth that never changes, never shakes before circumstances, never fades before time. The Lord is healing me. You think that is just a sentence? No, my child, it is the declaration of the soul, the proclamation of one who is walking with God. Every time you utter it, you are repeating what I have spoken since the foundation of the world when I called light out of darkness. For my word carries creative power, and your word, if spoken in faith, will touch that power and cause what is unseen to take form. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not only speaking of a future event, you are activating the reality of heaven right in the midst of earthly life. My child, I know there are days when you are weary, when faith feels as heavy as stone, when your lips tremble and do not want to speak another word. But it is precisely then that what you need most is this word. For when your soul is weak, this word becomes strength. When your heart is drained, this word becomes life. When you cannot walk, this word pulls you to your feet. Do not wait for emotion to come before you speak. For emotion is a wave, but my word is a rock. Waves change, but the rock stands. Your feelings waver, but my truth remains. And if you will faithfully speak this word, you will see what I speak never returns void. Do you know why I want you to keep saying it? Because every word you speak in faith is one more step forward in healing. When you speak, your mind hears, and slowly your soul believes. Every cell in your body begins to respond to that truth, that the Lord is healing. For when faith and word meet, miracles are born. You do not have to understand every heavenly mechanism. You only need to believe that I, the one who created you, am rewriting every part of your life through that declaration. Many will say, "But what if I have not seen anything change?" My child, I smile because they do not understand that healing is a flow, not a flash. When you plant a seed, you do not see the roots growing, but you know the seed is sprouting. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," even if your eyes see nothing, yet your soul has already shifted. And then one day what was hidden will burst forth like dawn's first light. Do not fear the days when you see nothing. Those are the days I am working the most, quietly, deeply, but most profoundly. My child, say this word not only in the secret room, but in the noise of the marketplace. Say it when you work, when you eat, when you walk along the road, not to show off, but to keep your mind reminded that you belong to me, that you are living in the process of healing. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are proclaiming to every power that I still reign. And you will see the atmosphere around you will change your mind, will change your way of looking at life, will be renewed. For when your words unite with mine, your inner world begins to look like heaven. There will be moments when you will be tempted to stay silent, thinking that speaking makes no difference. But my child, silence is never neutral. When you are silent, fear will speak in your place. When you stop speaking words of life, your mind will drift toward words of doubt. Therefore, let your mouth become a lamp that does not go out. Even if you have only a little faith left, speak, for with a mustard seed I can move mountains. Do not worry if at first your words are only a shaky whisper. I still hear, and I still count. Every word spoken in faith, however weak, is an invitation for me to step into your space. I want you to know this is not a slogan to keep you motivated, but a cord that binds me and you. When you say, "The Lord is healing me," you are not speaking only of the body, but of the soul, the mind, the memories, and the past. For my healing is whole. I reach into the place where you were most wounded, the place you are afraid for others to see, the place you once closed and dared not recall. When you say this word, you are inviting me right there. And I will not come to condemn, but to cleanse, to soothe, and to restore. Make this word a habit, like breathing, like a heartbeat. Each morning, when you open your eyes, say, "The Lord is healing me." When night falls, whisper, "You are still working in me." Let this word become a hidden current in your blood, so that even if your lips are not speaking, your heart is still ringing with it. And when it has become a way of life, you will realize that faith is no longer a burden you must strain to hold, but a source of life, flowing naturally. My child, not every miracle bursts forth in a single dazzling moment. Some miracles unfold day by day, minute by minute, in quiet perseverance. When you keep speaking, keep believing, you are becoming like me, the one who spoke and all things were made. That is the mystery of the power of speech. When you agree with me, you enter into the creative power of God. And then your body, your mind, your soul will be aligned to that truth, that you are being healed, being renewed, being led from woundedness into glory. Do not let this word be only a sound on your lips. Let it become the pulse in your heart. Let every sentence rise like a prayer, like a song of trust. When you pass through a bright day, speak to give thanks. When you walk through the night, speak to keep hope. When you feel weak, speak to remind your soul that the Lord is still strong in you. And when you are standing in peace, speak to share with others, so that they may know that the miracle I worked in you can bloom in them too. Therefore, my child, do not stop speaking. Do not wait until everything is perfect to lift your voice. It is precisely when you speak in the midst of the unfinished that the word is truly alive. Let these words become your breath, not only in prayer but in every choice, every action, every way you face life. Let your whole life become a declaration. The Lord is healing me. And I promise you this, if you faithfully keep this word in your heart, not as a magic chant, but as a covenant of love, you will see my power spread like the light of dawn. It will shine into the dark corners within you, warm the cold places, and then day by day, little by little, you will see yourself changing, lighter, more at peace, deeper. For in that very process, you are being transformed into my image. No longer one who merely waits for a miracle, but one who is living in the miracle. My child, do not be afraid, do not doubt. Speak even if your voice trembles, even if your circumstances are harsh, even if your heart is not yet fully certain. Speak, for I am listening. Speak, for heaven moves at the sound of faith-filled words. Speak, for in every word you utter I am healing you, not tomorrow, not at some distant moment, but right now, in this very instant. My beloved child, when you begin to say these words every day, you will see something wondrous begin to blossom within your heart, not loud, not dazzling, but quiet, like the dawn repainting the sky after a long dark night. You will realize that healing does not come from the outside, but from within, from the place where I am working in secret. Each time you declare, "The Lord is healing me," you are lighting a lamp in your soul, and that light will slowly drive out the dark corners of fear, doubt, and weariness. There will come a morning when you open your eyes and sense that something is different, not because everything around you has changed, but because you have changed. Your mind will no longer be tangled in anxiety. Your heart will no longer be weighed down by painful memories. My presence will begin to spread within you like water soaking into dry ground, soothing every place that once shut itself off. You will no longer need to search for me somewhere far away. You will feel me in every breath, in every look, in every grateful tear. And as your faith is forged through every word you speak, you will see the miracle flow even into your body. The pains will slowly fade and will no longer rule over you. Strength will return, but this time it will not be human strength. It will be the strength born of my peace. Joy will grow, not a joy that fades with moods, but a deep joy that springs from knowing you are not alone. Peace will become deeper, not because life is easy, but because you have learned to rest in my hand in the midst of the storm. I say to you, believe, receive, confess, and entrust. For within these 4 things you will touch my glory. Believe, so faith can open the door for the miracle to enter. Receive, so you do not refuse the love I am giving you. Confess, so your mouth becomes the channel of heaven's power, and entrust, so your soul may rest in the absolute security of grace. When these four unite within you, the heavens over your life will brighten, and my glory will no longer be something you only hear about, but something you behold. Believe this, my child, I do not heal you merely so that you stop hurting. I heal you so that you may be free. Free from fear, from sin, from the weight of what has been. I did not come to change a few pages in the story of your life. I came to write an entire new chapter in unconditional love. And as you keep speaking, keep believing, keep walking in these words, you are writing that chapter with me. The chapter of a soul that knows it belongs to me and that I belong to it. You will see miracles, but greater than the miracle, you will see me. I will not only touch your body, but I will touch your heart. I will not only heal old wounds, but I will make you an instrument that carries healing to others. You will understand that the miracle does not end in you, but flows through you like a river of life. And then every word you speak, every work you do, every place you go, all of it will reflect my glory. My child, you will no longer live in the fear of when or what if, because your heart will know that I am always here. When you walk, I walk with you. When you sit, I am beside you. When you weep, I count every tear. When you rejoice, I smile with you. There is no distance between you and me unless you turn away. But even if you turn away, I still stand there waiting for the day you return to whisper, I am still here. Let your heart rest in this truth, that my love does not come and go, does not change, with the days does not run dry, even when you are weak or mistaken. I am with you not because you deserve it, but because I cannot stop loving. And when you accept this, healing will no longer be a dream, but a reality breathing in every cell of your being. My child, keep speaking, keep believing, keep living in these words. For one day you will look back and realize that every word you spoke has built in you a new person, stronger, gentler, more radiant. You will understand that every trial, every waiting, every tear was the soil I used to plant the flower of the miracle. And when that flower blooms, you will doubt no more, because you will see clearly that I never left you, and I never will. I am with you, in the beginning and in the end, in faith and in weakness, in the day you collapse and in the moment you rise again. I am still here, unchanging, unmovable, and I will always be so. For my love for you has no full stop, and this love, nothing else, is the greatest miracle among all the miracles you have ever received. Now, my child, open your heart. Let your heart grow still in the wind of faith, and offer me prayers not only with your lips, but with your whole soul, so that each word becomes a fragrance rising before my throne. Almighty God, you who search the depths of my heart, I come to you not with full hands, but with a broken heart. I do not ask for an easy path. I only ask for enough faith that I may not collapse. Let the words I speak today, the Lord is healing me, be not just sounds from my mouth, but an echo from the very depths of my soul. I believe that you are still at work, even when my eyes have not yet seen. Pour into me the strength to stand firm in my weakest days, to believe even when my body trembles. Lord, let my words become a river flowing back to you, where every pain is washed away, where I am brought to life again in the light of grace. Merciful Father, you who have called me by my own name today, I return to you, carrying wounds not yet healed, tears not yet dried. I do not ask you to take the pain away. I ask you to make it beautiful, so that in every fear I may learn to trust. Teach me to be silent when you have not yet answered, to give thanks when the miracle has not yet come, to stand firm when my heart is shaken. I believe that no prayer falls into nothingness, and no tear is forgotten before your throne. Father, please heal me, not only in my body but in the soul that longs to be held by you. Beloved Father, I thank you because you did not abandon me in the long night of suffering. Thank you for the moments that seemed hopeless, for it was there that I realized you were still near. Thank you for teaching me that faith is not magic, but a journey of love. I thank you for the healing that is taking place, quiet yet real. I will not cease to praise because I know I am living in your miracle every day. Gracious Lord God, I thank you because you have heard me even when my prayers were clumsy. I thank you because you heal not only the body but also the soul. I know that there is not a single moment in my life when you are absent. Thank you for teaching me to believe in adversity, to smile through tears, to love in the midst of hurt. All that I have today is grace, and I offer it back to you with the deepest gratitude of Holy One of my heart. I thank you because you have turned my prayer into a miracle, turned my weakness into strength. Thank you for renewing my soul with peace and filling my heart with light. I no longer need to see in order to believe, for I have felt your life in every heartbeat. Thank you for choosing me, loving me, and never abandoning me, even when I foolishly wandered. Almighty and compassionate God, I thank you, because the miracle is not only in my body, but in my soul, which is being made new. Thank you for letting me know that no pain is wasted when you are present. Thank you for using my wounds to write a story of life so that I may become a witness to your power and love. I offer you my life, every breath, every day, as an unending song of thanksgiving before your glorious throne. I offer this prayer in the holy name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so that together we can build a community.